Okay, so let's go ahead and jump on ahead to bubble 7 here. And in bubble 7, it's talking now about the paragraph tags. The paragraph tags, or the paragraph start and end tags, are placed around text to indicate that it is part of a paragraph. Placing text between paragraph start and end tags lets the computer know that it should be treated differently, often just spacing it out from the other text. So we're going to place the text we just wrote inside at least two separate paragraphs by surrounding it with those tags and then comparing the results with somebody nearby. So let's take a peek here. I'm going to place two sets of tags in here, so break your sentences up some way, somehow. So I'm going to start right at the beginning with a paragraph tag because that's a logical place. So I'm going to type less than, and then that lowercase p, and then a greater than. And somewhere in here now I need to close the tag. So let's close it, and for my case, after the word shady. So I'm going to do less than, and then a forward slash, and a p, and then greater than. So let's clarify here. This tells me that the tag begins, and in most cases, when I use the forward slash, that tells me that that tag is going to end. So for instance, if I was using the bold tag, if I were to wrap this with the bold tag here, that means everything from the word hello to shady would show up in bold. Okay, so in this case, it means that that is its own paragraph. Okay, and as you can see, that's kind of what's happening over here. Um, Notice how once I finished typing that in, this auto updated. If yours didn't update after you did your first set, click refresh and save, and it should update as long as you've typed it in correctly. Notice how now this is its own paragraph and this is its own paragraph, and they're separated by some spacing. So try it again. Even if it breaks it up in the middle of a sentence, just throw some more tags in there and let's see what happens. So I'm going to do one here. And I'm going to close it out here after the word thought. Again, I don't really care where it is. This is just practice. And as you can see, once again, it updated my paragraph and broke that into some separate spacing there. Okay. So now we have an idea of what the paragraph does is it creates the formatting for a paragraph using those tags without us doing anything funny like spaces or line spaces or tabs that we might do when we type or traditionally write a paragraph. So let's go ahead and jump ahead to Bubble 8 here. Bubble 8 is a debugging task. So there are some mistakes here, and it's your objective to fix the mistakes. There'll be a lot of debugging tasks that you'll see as we go throughout code.org. They love to have us debug, and that's what debugging always means. There's going to be an error, and it's our objective to fix the error. Now, one of the things you should know, even though it doesn't actually appear as an issue in this particular question, but sometimes it will, if there's a very flagrant error over here, something that's just not coded correctly, you will actually see little warning flags over here to the left of these line numbers to indicate that there's some type of error. So when we're debugging, one of the first things we'll always look for are those tags or those little flags to let us know that there is an error. But there are no flags here because technically everything here does show up or render correctly. There's just something that they did not do in the coding here. So the web page has some issues which are preventing the content from being displayed correctly. Identify and fix the issues. So as we look, it says this sentence should be on its own, and so should this one. What's wrong with this sentence? Okay, so let's debug. All right, we know that this sentence should be on its own, so it's going to be its own little paragraph. And this one's also supposed to be its own little paragraph. And the objective here is to figure out what's wrong with this sentence. Okay, well, if they're supposed to be on their own, that means they're supposed to be their own paragraphs. So remember, every paragraph has to have its own open and close tag. Well, as I look at what's on the screen, there's only one set of those. This whole thing is in its own set of paragraph tags, which means it can only show up as one paragraph. Every time we add a new set of tags, we can add another paragraph. So let's come here after the word own, and let's close that one out. And to close that out, we'll go ahead and add the p tag with the forward slash. And so now notice here when I do a little refresh, I Again, it did not do that one automatically. Now that sentence that says this sentence should be on its own is indeed on its own. Right? But now here's the problem. I only have one set of tags that are open and closed, and now I have another tag here that's hanging out here on its own, which simply cannot be. So we'll have to make this one its own and make sure we match everything up. We always want to make sure we open and close a tag together to make sure that the code works correctly. There's a few tags that don't actually have a close and an open. They just are kind of their own tag, and we'll see those later on. But for right now, we're going to go with the rule that everything opens and closes. So let's get an open and close so we get so should this one to be its own paragraph. So in front of the word so, we're going to add the P with the greater than and less than symbols wrapped around it. And then we'll close after the word one and the period with the same tag with the / in front of it. And again, if it doesn't auto update like mine didn't, just click refresh and save. And we can do the same thing around what's wrong with the sentence if we want to. It's not going to impact anything because realize there's nothing else to separate it from. It's already been separated from everything else. But we could wrap this with the tag if we wanted to. And we would have to add a / here. Or we could just wipe that out entirely because again, it's already been separated. And that's up to you as to how to proceed. And that's it for this chapter.